Hi everyone, we are on lesson 10.3 and we are talking about parallel lines and perpendicular lines. And the essential question asks, how can you identify and draw parallel lines and perpendicular lines? So, let's get to it. We're all about drawing lines in this chapter. So the first unlocking the problem says, can you find models of lines in the world around you? For example, two streets that cross each other, model intersecting lines. Metal rails on a train track that never cross, model parallel lines. So you might be thinking, what are all these lines? Maybe parallel, intersecting. Maybe are some words you might have heard of, but don't know that well. So let's get to it. All right, the first one that we're going to learn about is intersecting lines. So right here, they're giving you an example. Let's read what it is. Intersecting lines are lines in a plane that cross at exactly one point. Intersecting lines form four angles. So they're intersecting. This means they're crossing over. One point, they're crossing over. So these two lines go this way, and then the next one goes this way, and they just cross. That's all they do. Lines HI, line HI, intersects line JK. At points X, point X. So they cross at point X. This is how you would write it. HI with the line symbol. Very important for you to put your symbols over top. It's a line. And JK with the line symbol over top. So you'd say line HI and line JK intersect at point X. Perfect. So these intersect, they come together, they cross. Next one, parallel lines. I have a little trick for these. Parallel lines are lines in a plane that are always the same distance apart. Parallel lines never intersect, so they never intersect. Parallel lines, how I remember these, if you see these are two lines, they'll just keep going. They never will cross. This one up here crossed. These two never cross. I remember it like the L's right here. These L's, if they just kept going straight up or straight down, they would never cross. So parallel lines are two lines that never cross. So this one, you would read it, line DE is parallel to line FG. DE line is parallel to line FG. So this line is parallel to this line. They will never cross, they will never touch, they just keep going. Remember, they were talking up here like the railroad, the train tracks. All right, and this is how you write it. Remember, the line has arrows on both sides. Line DE is parallel. That's what those two lines mean, right? Lines mean right there. To line, again, we put the line on top, FG. The symbol with the two lines right here means is parallel to. So parallel, never cross. Intersecting, crosses. We have one more to learn about. And this one's called perpendicular. I like to see it like that. Perpendicular. Perpendicular lines. I think of perpendicular lines, lines in a plane that intersect to form four right angles. I think of it as they're perfect. They're going to be perfectly perpendicular. Kind of like Mrs. Right with the right angles. She's always right. So these are perpendicular, very perfect lines. They're always forming that right angles. These ones did not form. They just intersect. They did not form right angles. They're just intersecting. Parallel, don't touch at all. And then perpendicular. Perpendicular. Perpendicular lines form that perfect right angle. Perfect perpendicular. Let's read it. Line LM is perpendicular to line NO. LM perpendicular to NO. This is how we write it. Line LM perpendicular. It's kind of like an upside down T to line NO. The symbol, the upside down T, is perpendicular to. All right, so our 3 types of lines: intersecting lines, parallel lines, and perpendicular. Intersecting, they just cross at one point. Parallel, with those L's, parallel lines are lines that never touch. Perpendicular are lines that form 4 right angles. All right, let's practice a little. So draw and label. Do you remember what this symbol is? This symbol is a ray. Remember, it has a point and then an arrow. What does this mean? Upside down T. Let's go back and look. Upside down T. Upside down T is perpendicular right here. Upside down T. Perpendicular to line YZ, intersecting at point Y. All right, let's see how good my drawing is. So step 1, draw and label Y, X. So we're going to draw and label Y. Remember, it's a ray, so it has 1 point. Hopefully my drawing will be good. It's kind of hard to draw in here sometimes, guys. So we're going to do, remember, here's the Y is going to be the end of the ray. Y. And then an X right there. And then draw and label Y. To Z. All right, let's make sure we did it. Draw and label ray, YX, YX, ray. Remember, ray has one side that keeps going and one side that stops at a point. Kind of like a ray of sunshine that I talked to that one group about. Then draw and label ray, YZ, YZ. Step 3 and 4, let's see. Whoops, kind of went to our thing. Make sure ray, YX, and Y and ray, YZ intersect at point Y. Yep. Make sure the rays are perpendicular. So they should have that 90 degrees right there. Do they have that 90 degrees? Yes, they do. Perfect. So, let's go back to this one. I forgot to do one on this one that I wanted to do really quick. Right here. So, it says, remember on this right here, they talked about how the streets go together. For example, streets that cross each other can be intersecting. So let's look on this map right here. We have 36th Street and Broadway. 36th Street right here, West 36th Street and Broadway. And Broadway is right here. What does that street do right there? that, do you know what that does? If you said intersecting, you are correct. Intersecting, perfect. Let's try the next one. So we are at West 35th Street and 7th Avenue. West 35th, right here, and 7th Avenue. What do you think those are doing? If you said intersecting, whoops, you are correct, but it's also something else. It's intersecting and it is perpendicular. It is perpendicular because they're 90 degrees. So they do cross, but they're also 90 degrees. Let's look at West 37th Street and West 36th Street. West 37th and West 36th, right here. Do you know what those two lines are doing? If you said parallel, you are correct. So we have intersecting, where they cross. We have intersecting and perpendicular. They crossed, but then they had those 90 degrees, which made it perpendicular, 90 degrees, perfectly 90 degrees. And then parallel, where the other ones that will never cross, this 37th Street and 36th Street, never came together. They just keep going straight. All right, perfect. We just did this one also. We did our rays. Let's do this one right here, our last one. So we have, do we remember what this is called? A line segment. So line segment Q. Whoops, sorry. Let's make that a little bit straighter. So Q, R, and what are they right here? Do you remember what that is called? Two lines right there. That is called parallel. So another ray, another line segment. Line segment, those are just line segments because they have no arrows right there or right there. Line segments. And this one we're going to name S and T. All right, so I hope that helped you to learn all about our different types of lines. We had the intersecting, we had perpendicular, and we had parallel lines. If I move this over for 1 second, these always stay. It's so silly. Let me just slide those over so we can review really quick again what we did. Intersecting, they just crossed at a point. Parallel, remember the two L's, never crossed. And perpendicular, I like to say that one, perpendicular, because it's perfectly 90 degrees. Were our 3 different kinds of lines that we learned about today. Don't forget the symbols are very important, guys. Look at those symbols right here and how you will write them. All right, if you have any questions, let me know. Bye.